you guys, and welcome to my channel. In this video, I'm going to give you 5 reasons, 5 non-obvious reasons that you stayed in that toxic relationship or you stayed in relationship with a narcissist. All right. Now, I'm going to say generally non-obvious reasons. It might be possible that you listen to these 5 things and be like, you know what? Those were in the forefront of my mind. I already considered that, been there, done that, moving right along. That's fine. But to me, it's less of a non-obvious reason because I'm going to go down the list here of some of what may seem, obvious to me, of course, but I'm a professional. But I think it's generally obvious to most people. And then some of these might be non-obvious to some of you, especially if you're new to the community as well and you haven't, evolved that much in learning about toxic relationships and your emotional maturity with that. All right. With that being said, some of the obvious reasons, all right, low self-esteem, the trauma bond, love, soul ties, denial, resistance to change, holding on to hope that they'll change. You stay because they continue to manipulate you, or, the love bomb. You stay basically for the good times that follow after the bad. We stay because it's easy, it's familiar, it's a habit, it's a pattern. We stay because of unresolved past traumas in our life. And I mentioned denial as well. Okay. So yeah, those are some of the obvious reasons. These are obvious reasons to most people as to why they stayed in the toxic relationship. All right, so here are 5 non-obvious reasons of why you were staying. And, they're primarily psychological. I think all of them. Psychological reasons. Yep, all psychological. All right, so number 1 here on my list, you guys, is quantity versus quality. Meaning, chances are, and you're going to have to really think about this in your emotional maturity, you were more focused on quantity than you were quality. Because we see the quality that comes with this narcissist and toxic person. But yet it was more of a quantity thing, meaning I need to have someone. This is quantity. I need to have something. This is quantity over quality. I'm not willing to subtract what I have, even though it's giving me all these other things I don't want, because I want this one thing that I'm perceiving to get from this connection. So at that point, you're more focused on quantity over quality. Okay. And some of you are really going to have to really meditate on that and think, and you'll be like, you know what, Coach Lakia, you're right. You're right. I was more focused on quantity over quality at that point in my life. All right. So number 2, there's a secret fear that your life will be worse without them. And I know some of you are going to jump in here and say, why on earth would I think that? This person is lying. This person is cheating on me. This person is abusing me. But it's what you have. So in our shadow side, which is what we're typically in when we're in that relationship, thinking that we're thriving, or, we're in the flow and we're in the pattern or the synchronization or the wavelength of pulling away, will cause a discomfort. So that purge that we have to go through, which is temporary, honestly, will give us a false perception in our lack of emotional maturity. So at that point, you're feeling like life without them is going to be worse. Because then when you go through that discard and you're feeling horrible when you're separated from this toxic person that you were addicted to. But of course, when you are breaking an addiction and your flesh is going to be screaming, kicking and screaming and hollering for its toxic fix. And that is what you're experiencing, but it gives you that feeling. So especially if you felt that, or you're perceiving the feeling of that, is going to psych you out and make you think that, you know, your life is worse without them. And that's why I'm like secretly feel, because the person that's in it they're not removing themselves, but they'll complain about it. Yeah, he or she ain't ish, right? They're always doing this, that to me, but they're staying with that person because there's a perception. If we keep it real, there's a perception in the subconscious that your life will be worse without them. And that's a hard pill to swallow. And it actually speaks to the toxicity inside of you. Okay? That you would perceive that. All right? And when we talk about, you know, things being worse without this toxic person, we're talking about a lack mentality. We're talking about someone that's setting limitations on themselves. That's someone that feels defeated and hopeless. You know, a lot of times they're feeling beat down. Okay. So yeah, secretly feeling like your life without them will be worse. That's often going on there in the subconscious. All right. Now, number 3, you're unconscious. You are unconscious. And I know some of you are going to jump in here and say, you know what? I ain't unconscious. I know what this person is doing. They're lying. They're cheating. They're manipulating. They're using me. They're putting their hands on me. You're still unconscious. And I'm going to tell you why right now. You're too externally focused. All right. Because when you're so focused on what they're doing, guess who you're not focused on? What you're doing. And understanding the role that you played in this part. No, you did not take that person's hand or fist and guide it to you to have them hit you. But if you reinforce that behavior and rewarded it by continuing the connection, it's teaching them that they can treat you that way. Okay, this is the unconscious aspect of things. So a lot of times, you know, the survivors, before they're a survivor actually, the person that's being abused, you know, they spend a lot of time complaining and, you know, further victimizing themselves with other people. And yes, that person is victimizing you. They are. But you don't have to stay a victim, for sure. You can step into full acceptance of their poor behavior and lack of respect for you and your relationship and what you guys are trying to build, and become very conscious about that, and then make decisions accordingly. All right, you guys. All right. And I know that's an ouchie to think, you know what, I wasn't as woke as I thought, because I could think back to myself in situations that I tolerated and things that I settled for that were less than. All right. And I wasn't as woke as I thought I was. All right. All right, you guys. We have to get conscious. We have to get conscious. So let's go to number 4 on my list. Oh, gosh, this little guy, he's been like bugging me all morning as I'm shooting my videos. You guys see my patterns. I sit down and I shoot like 5 to 7 videos at one time. And this little fly has just been irking me through all of this. So number 4, you guys. In psychology, we call this a low comparison level. And that may be something that you were experiencing in this situation. And that has a domino effect on what you'll accept in a relationship. When you have a low comparison level, meaning that you've had a lot of poor experiences, meaning toxic relationship after toxic relationship, or even that one relationship, and you've been in that cycle over and over with them, and breakup after breakup, experience after experience, degrading after degrading, disrespect after disrespect, you know, and it goes on and on and on. We start getting trained on what we should expect to receive in a relationship, you guys, and what we can expect to receive in a relationship. And what is that? Difficulties. So that increases psychologically, it increases our thresholds for being able to allow someone to bring difficulties because we are getting trained. And then this is the domino effect here. The more difficulties we start to accept, and the even lower our standards become, the higher our threshold becomes for tolerating even more difficulties. This is how we can go from one relationship and worse, and it's where it's like, you know what? I dated like 5 narcissists in a row, and each one was worse before the other ones because they were all managing down your expectations, which created or enabled an even higher threshold for the BS, for the abuse, and for more difficulties. Okay. The low comparison levels is also correlated with satisfaction. And that means that you're able to find satisfaction in low quality situations. And like I said, that threshold increases over time as you are experiencing or being exposed to more and more lower vibrational situations. Okay. I gotta take a sip, you guys. This is my 3rd video. And I do not want to have to cut and edit, okay? So bear with your girl for a second. I put some lemons in here. It's a little tangy. All right. So yeah, that's the low comparison, you guys. Very important. So number 5 of the non-reasons why you stayed in that toxic relationship, there was a shift in your priorities. A shift in your priorities. Perhaps you started out in a situation in the beginning of the relationship, I want love, you know, when, sidebar, you should be loving yourself. And am I saying there's something wrong with wanting to get external love from others? No. But of course, they shouldn't be filling your cup. They should just be overflowing it. Okay. That's the difference. But yeah, there's chances are was a shift in priority where getting love may not have been the most important thing at that point. All right. And then we could see this in marriages with the narcissist. It could have become, all right, well, I just want to stay married. I don't want to be a statistic, or I'm trying to keep my kid's father around type of thing. You know, I don't want a broken home. Even, and we're putting broken in quotes because it still gets broken, whether the divorce takes place or not. All right. And then we create, when we have these shifts in priorities, we'll create positive illusions, you guys. And these positive illusions are a shift as well. So I'm going to give you some examples of that. It's a shift in your values. Let's say you're dating a narcissistic male and he was a big time cheater, but he came home every night. All right. So the shift in priorities, where in the beginning, like, I've never dated a cheater. I wouldn't want a cheater. It would go from, you know what, but he comes home every night. You know, we start valuing one over the other. All right. Instead of trying to get both, we'll start valuing one over the other, which allows us to minimize the cheating. Well, you know what? He does. He know how to come home. You know, a dog knows how to come home, right? He know where he got to be every night. No, you know, it's just making minimizations, basically. All right. Or maybe the person is generous, but not thoughtful. But they're generous, like the person's giving to you, but they're not very thoughtful about it. So there's a shift in priorities, and we're basically downgrading the importance of one thing over the other, as opposed to having both. It doesn't have to be an either or, but with a toxic person, it is going to be an either or. Okay. When it comes to like the core characters and the foundations of a relationship, you guys, and this is really a big one right here, the shift in their priority and the positive illusions. Okay. So those are the 5 reasons, you guys, that we stay in these toxic relationships. All right. And we know that they're toxic. These are non-obvious reasons and psychological reasons on top of that. So I hope that this video has helped someone. If it has, go ahead and hit that like button. All right. If you're finding that you are struggling with these things and more, chances are, and you want to get some personal, private, one-on-one coaching from me, you can definitely do so. All right, visit my website, lakiacrawford.com. I do voice calls, I do FaceTime, I do Skypes. Oh my gosh, I'm not editing this, you guys. I am not. I have way too much work to do. Ain't gonna do that. So you can schedule your appointment, you guys. If you want a different appointment time that I have showing on there, just email me or give me a call and we'll schedule something. All right. With that being said, you guys, it's not the end of the world. It just means you got some work to do. All right. And sometimes, you know, these kind of videos, it can just help us understand ourselves better. And that's the most important thing, because we are the one variable that we have the ability to change in any given equation, right? All right, guys. So what do I say at the end of all of my videos? Never give up on yourself. Continue to do the work. And until next time, please take care.